Christopher Nolan brings us his new film, Cocaine Volcano. I'm playing, calm down. It's not the real poster or the real movie. But if you watch AMC Movie Talk, you know the joke. Interstellar is a new film by Christopher Nolan, who has given us such classics as Memento, The Prestige, Inception, Insomnia, and my personal favorites. And now Christopher Nolan brings us Interstellar. The premise of this movie is the Earth is pretty much dying, there's dust clouds everywhere, people need farmers and foods. The last source of food is corn, hence the reason why they need farmers. Eventually that's going to go away and people are going to die. And the only solution is to go to another galaxy through this wormhole. Matthew McConaughey is chosen to lead this mission along with Anne Hathaway, a couple of others, and a robot called TARS. Now I waited after I saw Big Hero 6 to see this movie because Interstellar, it's been getting a lot of mixed reviews. Now I did see this movie, and while I did enjoy the film did have some flaws, so I'm going to address the positives and the negatives. First, the positives. Now first off, the driving force throughout this entire film is the relationship between Matthew McConaughey's character Cooper and his daughter, Murphy, who was played by Mackenzie Foy. If you remember her, she played Renesmee in the last Twilight film. She was really good in the film. In fact, the scene in the film where Matthew McConaughey's character is getting ready to leave, but she doesn't want him to leave, but he has to anyway, so she's real upset with him, and then they get real emotional. I really loved that scene. Matthew McConaughey has had a real good comeback within the past couple of years, and this is a good film to have on his resume. Mackenzie Foy, she has a good career ahead of her. As long as she has a good agent that has her best interests at heart, she picks all the right roles, and she doesn't follow the mistakes of other child stars, she will be fine. After that, they go off into space, and it is visually stunning. And when they go to different planets, it's visually stunning too. One of the things I loved about this film is that Christopher Nolan took us to places in space that we've never been before. The music in this film was really riveting too. I like a good music score within a film, and Christopher Nolan and Hans Zimmer, they've worked together multiple times, and so this time around they were no strangers to working with each other, and they always bring out pure gold music within their films. One of the other things I liked about this film is that this film uses a lot of quantum physics and the theory of relativity, which is a core element within the film, and they illustrate it very well. I'm telling you, this film was just brilliant in so many levels. I just wish the film was better. Now this is where my negatives come in. Now reviewing a movie like this is hard because when there's stuff that you liked or didn't like, you have to explain it. But if you explain it, you may spoil plots of the movie. Especially for a movie like this because you don't really know much going into it and you want to keep it secret, or else it'll compromise the entire experience of seeing this movie. But some of the core elements of why I felt this film was imperfect, the pacing of this movie. We spent 75% of this movie in space, and the space element of the film dragged on, which made the film longer than it really needed to be. Now granted, I can enjoy a long-ass movie, but there are some movies that are longer than it needed to be, or just movies that are just flat out long for no reason at all. And that gets a little irritating. I feel like they didn't really put any more emphasis on the Earth dying, and they really could have within the third act. You could have showed some cities burning down, or people freaking out, or grounds cracking, or stuff burning up, or whatever. I understand what they were trying to do within the third act, but at the same time, you could have illustrated a lot more that the Earth was dying, so that we have a feel for the Earth dying. Matthew McConaughey also had a son within the movie, and honestly, he didn't really serve the plot at all. They really could have cut him out of the film, and the movie would be no different. But my last negative within the film is just the fact that Christopher Nolan, he was so ambitious within this project. He was so ambitious with this project that he kind of overthought some things, and some things within the film didn't really add up or make sense or whatever. And I felt he kind of cheated within the third act. At this point, Nolan has yet to make a shit movie, so when the studio pretty much gives him too much creative freedom to do whatever, it kind of takes a toll on the actual project. The best way I can explain it is like making popcorn. You make plain popcorn with nothing on it, so you add the butter, but then you start adding salt, but then you start adding a little too much salt that when you taste it, it's too salty and it's bitter. That's how I felt about Interstellar. In the end, Interstellar was a bit overwhelming. It had too many science and quantum physics elements within the film that a person of my intelligence is probably going to have to take more than one watch to actually get. But I still enjoy the film, and it's definitely a theater experience. If you like quantum physics, you will like this movie. If you like good sci-fi movies, you may like this film. If you're a fan of Christopher Nolan, you may be conflicted with this movie at first, but you will still enjoy it for what it is. So I suggest you check it out, particularly in an IMAX theater. I will give Interstellar a B, for I will buy it on DVD or Blu-ray. That's it for the day. Like what you see, subscribe to this channel, subscribe to my other channel. The links are in the description below. And be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, and be sure to check out my website and my rundown videos. Peace.